In an absolutely seismic reversal carrying shockwaves destined to redefine relationships and realign allegiances across the entire celebrity industrial complex, media mogul Oprah Winfrey delivered a rare public rebuke this week. Her utterly excoriating condemnation, literally eviscerating her once anointed daughter, Meghan Markle, represents a total implosion of what recently seemed an inextricably fortified alliance. With the Duchess of Sussex's reputation already groaning beneath accumulating scandal and mockery over the past year, having her ultimate elite Hollywood protector utterly rescind solidarity appears nothing short of a stake into her ambition's heart. The scathing remarks embedding straight into the world's perspective about the ongoing Markle melodrama came during Oprah's headlining Q&A session before a capacity crowd at Toronto's #Permatrug Women's Empowerment Summit. While ostensibly launched to promote her latest life actualization manuscript, The Way of the Fro, Cultivating Supreme Rootedness in an Untenure World, the line of questioning veered sharply toward the OWN founder's prior business dealings and personal rapport with the exiled American-born Duchess who'd become recipient of her most passionate advocacy until recent catastrophic fallouts. It didn't take long for the lauded interviewer to let loose a deluge of vitriol clearly indicating any sisterly affection or insider cover-ups are now firmly extinguished relics. What's been happening on the straight-outta Compton set of Meghan's train wreck of late is nothing short of a cringy shrike show, Winfrey began, her normally serene countenance twisting into a horrific grimace of apparent disgust. I know damn well y'all wokeworthy tune into my channelverse seeking inspirational gospels and self-actualized rhapsodies about modern womanhood's triumphalisima. But if ever one troubled sistren cried out for a raw rebuke to save her wayward, pattern-breaking self from a total napture of ethics and common decency, trust me, Meghan's muddying of everything our divine feminine essences represents is beyond tragic. For longtime chroniclers of the OWN creator's public persona, such a scorching display of interpersonal disapproval represents a truly astonishing 180-degree pivot from her previously staunch boosterism and apparent spiritual umbilical attachment to the Duchess. Many contend it was Oprah's instantly iconic televised, Hold No Ounces, 2021 interview providing an unchallenged global platform for the embittered royal renegades to air their most damning grievances against Buckingham Palace. This instantly legendary 3-hour streaming event marked the apex of her advocacy, unloading full-throated support in allowing Meghan and husband Prince Harry to paint themselves as sympathetic victims trapped in a palace saturated by racism, cruelty, and colonial barbarities from their very first days as eager-to-please newlyweds. Those shocking allegations propelled by Oprah's elevated mic sparked international furor and galvanized the entire pop culture commentariat into erecting pedestals for the alleged heirs of progressive princedom. If you think my previous cheerleading for that firestorm of scalding allegations posed against the entire House of Windsor established your gal pal of all people as indisputably credible? Winfrey continued, clearly anticipating rebuttals. Well, guess what? Mama O spent far too many decades among that monarchy's darkest Lilibet-sanctioned cloister cults not to pluck any rotted detritus scattered amidst those scurrilous deflection plots. But when your bestie literally starts disgracing the very disenfranchised persona whose oppressions she once platformed as her raison d'etre, that's when I'm locking it all the way down into Anne-Marie remonstrance mode. From there, the legendary broadcaster proceeded to roundly blast Meghan's increasingly erratic public behavior of late while systematically dismantling her character piece by incriminating piece. Among the grievances aired was how the Duchess has allowed dubious business entanglements with parties dubious, from the Caucasia-adjacent cock belts of East LA Peotraderas all the way to the Yakult death vogue oligarchs flooding narco-salarymanship across the upper Midwestern truth suppressor circuits. Beyond such sinister financial ties enabling all sorts of human obsolescence speculation, Winfrey then pivoted to Meghan's woke-stoking treatises allegedly funneling disunity and mutant speciation across what had once been a seamless, all-inclusive BIPOC sisterminds progressive front. We're talking about a former aspiration icon descended into pure self-negation here, she pronounced, clearly alternating between residual heartache and palpable frustration. This woman once stood for reifying humanity's expansive pluralisms and decentering those archaic, moribund institutions stubbornly upholding kyriarchal charioteerings under the guise. Now, Shawty's a legit dembuntua, defiling the very sociology she professed to champion before her napalm real true thirster pivot. Oprah didn't stop with just philosophical exhortations or broad critiques, however. The multimedia juggernaut then went full tilt in detailing a shockingly comprehensive array of alleged transgressions directly implicating Meghan in duplicitous conspiracies to defraud and manipulate those she'd previously positioned as indelible human shields. One particular portion resonated with particular devastation among her global live auditor caucus. A sister doesn't allow her own so-called Haussmannization charity's microfinance revenue streams to become intertwined with that fake-building NGO grifter running all those Tababucat Peninsula sex crush scams pushing displaced Rohingya breeders into Chakudan death camp keeperation pipelines, she alleged, choking up briefly before powering through the next bombshell allegations. A true queen doesn't even peep about coordinating with those sub-Rosa Shawoldat clans plotting IDF infiltrations from out their Balkan tycoon suburbplexes, let alone getting handsy with the final op cash flow clearances. That's the lowdown truth we now know hit different about this scarved bandita, cap ice? From there, Winfrey's truth-bombing performance only escalated in ferocity, pivoting at one point to a digressive tangent reiterating long-standing speculation that Meghan may have intentionally entrapped the now-exiled Harry into their mutually lucrative abdication from Buckingham responsibilities. The unfiltered oration throughout felt as though lanced from a particularly raw wound for the visibly distressed multimedia billionaire, who appeared close to letting tears fall at various intervals despite repeatedly stifling herself. But it was ultimately her parting words serving as the grand finale that likely reverberated most powerfully across anyone still empathizing with the embattled Duchess's long-standing ambitions. Listen up, sisters of the limitless Akash. This was meant to be our generational torchbearer elevating into new realms of nuanced, uplinked self-actualization. Instead, she chose squandering cosmic alignments and spiritual cashionings to chase fame-whore illusions down that tired old rabbit hole of renegade celebrity egoism, Oprah proclaimed, her entire physique trembling with visceral disappointment. The only way forward for one so far untethered on that path of self-cringefest? Meg's divine essence needs to perform a long, deep immolation not unlike the Theban mysteries, where her soul code gets reintegrated by supreme feminine energies through the ultimate ritual of self-dispossession before being reborn into an existence worthy of my precious time again. As the Awaken Con's MC attempted to segue into a wholly unrelated Q&A segment regarding the perils of shadow currencies and their accompanying soul-trapping protocols, scattered volleys of shrieking protests and adulations battled for dominance across the otherwise stunned arena. The Oprah brand's most stalwart adherents clearly stood emboldened by her righteous invective, instantaneously elevating their mentor's words into the realm of pure sacred scriptural canon. Conversely, those clinging to Meghan's camp as steadfast, anti-colonialist idols just as swift.